Before I came to the Philippines, I thought I had a pretty good idea of what happiness was. But now, after about 10 weeks here, my perspective has changed massively. And there's three reasons why I think that is. I think what struck me almost immediately upon coming to the Philippines was just how happy the people seemed. And it wasn't just they have like a positive disposition. They're not just smiling people. They're, from conversations I had with Filipinos and from actually experiencing Filipino culture for an extended period of time, it made me realize that Filipino people were overwhelmingly content with what they have in life. The position that they find themselves in, they find great peace and happiness in much more significant ways than from what I have seen and experienced in the UK. Seeing the biggest difference, genuinely, that struck me very early on was just how happy the general mood was here compared to the UK. And it made me think, like, what is actually happiness? Like, what is the main thing that drives happiness in people's lives? And it genuinely made me question myself deeply. And the first thing that I think contributes to this is, in the Philippines, there is a big emphasis on people living with purpose. So it isn't just a focus on short-term happiness as much, but there is a genuine feeling from the conversations I've had with people that they are living for something greater than themselves. Whether it be linked to God, whether it be the closeness of their relationships that they're living in, how the communities operate, there seems to be a sense that when someone wakes up, their day is filled with interactions with other people. Like, what they do specifically, largely with how the barangays that I've been sort of living in, how they're set up, is that people's jobs seem to largely contribute to the betterment of their local community. And I think when you combine that with people's faith, and that's en masse, so massive groups of the population having that strong faith, people aren't just living for their next step on a career ladder, let's say, as their main focus, or even just what their next thing in life is. If this world was simply just a material world, and that's the whole point of everything, then I can understand that. And that's definitely more sort of atheist view that's being shown in the West. It makes sense why you wouldn't feel a massive sense of purpose if life itself was, by definition, without definite meaning and maybe no life after this. That's definitely one of the main things, that people live with purpose. It's not just pleasure. That's not what happiness is to me. Happiness is sustained and long-term purpose, that one of the fruits of this purpose is joy and happiness. And I think the Philippines, from what I've experienced, has that in abundance, genuinely. Point number two is people in the Philippines seem overwhelmingly grateful for what they have. This is something that has been consistent throughout my entire time that I've been in this country, where people, as I said, that might have less materially than people in the UK are so much more content with what they have than the people that have more. People are grateful for their position in life. They're grateful for being able to wake up today. Frequently, people bless God, they pray. And the influence this has on general well-being and contentment, I have to say that from my experience, it's been incredibly different to my experience in the UK. People here are genuinely grateful for the chance to be living in this earth and to be blessed in the ways that they've been blessed. And I think in the UK, there's such a focus on comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you compare to things you wish you had and you don't have, your life starts seeming a bit less blessed, a bit less meaningful, or a bit less fortunate. And you can spend your entire life doing that, and people do. I've been guilty of it. I know I have, in the UK, with social media, people showing their dream lives. And it's easy for people to shrink back inside themselves and think that they're not doing enough, and for whatever reason, they're not worthy or anything like that. And it's a horrible and negative mental trap to find yourself in. And I think by having faith, like so many people in the Philippines do, a strong faith that's consistent in their lives, they're able to be grateful for waking up each day. They're grateful for being protected during their sleep. They're grateful for the food that they eat, praying before meals. It carries through everything they do, and it's so different from my experience in the UK. And it's something that I think as a society in the UK and maybe the West in general, we're sadly lacking, especially in recent years. And the third point is the spirit in the Philippines of community, sharing, and I think it ties in with sort of like collectivist culture versus an individualistic culture. In the UK, family and friends are massive, but community is lacking. I don't know what's happened in my country, and it's a sad thing to say, but when I come to the Philippines and I see how close the communities are, like church community, the neighborhoods, how they look after each other, the size of the families, the closeness of the families, they share their joys and they share their burdens. And this feeling of you're not on your own is a massive factor as to why I think people find themselves in a happier state in general. If you're in the UK and you're earning £100,000 a year, you go back to your lovely flat, you sit there and maybe scroll through social media, or even you go to the gym, whatever you do. You could buy anything you wanted, let's say, but you're doing it on your own. Maybe you have some friends, maybe you're close with your family, but what is holding you together? What is giving you purpose day to day? Where are you living? Who are you living with? Do you know your neighbors? Do they know you? Or are you spending half of your life, more than half of your life, on your own and dealing with things on your own? You come to the Philippines, people aren't on £100,000 a year en masse, but what they are is surrounded by a wealth that money can't buy. And that is the love of the community for each other, knowing that they're not on their own, knowing that God loves them, having faith in God, having faith in one another to support each other when times get hard, and then almost knowing and wanting to pay that love back to one another when people are in a position to. It's just such a telling difference, and all these three things I think combine to why I think the Philippines feels a massively happier place than the UK to me. I know that not every place is perfect, and the UK has some amazing things, and the Philippines has some negative things as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to just say everything's perfect here and everything's awful in the UK. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying from my own personal experience, as someone who did not feel happy in the UK for a number of reasons, the Philippines has shown me that life can be much simpler and happier when people live with purpose, when people are grateful for what they have, and when people do not feel like they're isolated or when they're on their own. And I think we can learn a lot from Filipino culture in the West, and definitely for the rest of my life, my opinions will have been changed forever, wherever I end up living. So I'll forever be grateful to the Filipino people for being able to spend time with them for an extended period of time and to learn from them. If you can think of anything else that I didn't touch on in this video, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat to any of you about anything that you think is a big difference, or what makes Filipinos so well known for their happiness and their positive disposition, but also the sort of long-term ways that Filipinos look after each other. I'd love to know. Yeah, it's been incredible. So thank you all, and God bless.